fellow citizens of the world, we are here again, and it's a delight to be here today. And we are so grateful because you accepted this invitation to share this marvelous experience of finding the mindset tools to overcome challenges virtual summit, which is presented by the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness, GYMHA, in collaboration with Wellbeing Health Retreats and Zinzino. The summit will run for 2 days, today and tomorrow. And today the summit will be for about 2 hours, 15 minutes. Tomorrow will be about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm Katinda Ndola, your host, your moderator as well today. And I'm an author, speaker, founder of the Confidence and Self-Esteem Academy. And many people know me as their empowerment queen. The truth is, it feels so humbling to belong to a world where my fellow human beings are mindful and believe in making the world a better place. I know for sure that the experiences we will share in this summit this weekend will bring harmony, love, inner peace, and happiness to the people of the world. Now, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land of which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders, past and present. In this summit, which will run for the 2 days, we will share. Jude, do you want to move the slide?
Sure.
So in this summit today, we will share a few things which will be very interesting because there's a lot of turmoil in the world today. So the notice today is we're going to have a keynote speech. We'll have quiz competitions, which will happen tomorrow with a moderator, Loretta. We'll have poems by Chipo, who is the moderator for tomorrow, and music performances, which will happen tomorrow. We'll have a Q&A session towards the end, which if you're participating, please remember to unmute yourself to ask a question. Also, GYMHA has online workplace course registration. There's a special general meeting, job search skills and recruitment workshop, which will happen on the 15th to the 19th of March, 2021. There's also a GYMHA's membership, volunteer opportunities, Zinzino Balance Oil, which you can check on GYMHA's website, which is www.gymhabalance.com. We also have fortnightly Facebook Live shows, which is always about supporting the young people to encourage them to seek help if they have any mental health problems and just to encourage them to have a beautiful life. We're also going to have a group snapshot just after the poem. So if you don't want to be in the picture, please let us know in advance so we are aware of that. Also feedback. There will be a link on the chat box for feedback later in the summit. And also, once the summit is over, if you require a certificate of participation, please request that, send an email to GYMHA. And also we'll have closing remarks by Tony Neal, who's the chairperson for GYMHA as well. And now talking about housekeeping, please remember to mute your mic when you're not speaking. During the Q&A session, we will encourage you to unmute your mic to ask questions. And in the interest of your well-being, please have a glass of water and a pen and paper to write some notes, because I think today's session and tomorrow's session will be very insightful. Now, it's that time where I'm so pleased, and it's a great pleasure that I want to welcome our host, Jude. Jude is the founder and CEO of Global Youth Mental Health Awareness. Welcome, Jude.
Thank you very much, Katinda, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate Katinda for the great work you're doing. Your continuous support for GYMHA is great, and we value it and appreciate it always. It's a great opportunity for me to meet once again. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodian of the land that I'm presenting from. I paid my respect to their elders, the past and the present, and the emerging. I also extend this respect to the Aboriginal and the Torres Strait Islander people that might be present with us today. Welcome to the GMHA Free Virtual Summit. This summit is finding the mindset to overcome challenges. My name is Jude ATI. I'm the founder and the CEO of the GMHA in short. Thank you so much for making the time out of your busy schedule to attend this auspicious event. You are in for an informative and educative session by great speakers and professionals across the globe. I would like to acknowledge the dedication and the hard work of our talented board members, committee volunteers, and partners, without whom this event wouldn't have been possible. I would also like to thank each and every one of you present here today. Your support and the decision to invest your price, time, and energy into our 10th summit is to be applauded. Especially, acknowledge the work, the immensely contribution of Tony Nim, the GMHA chairperson, for his, invaluable contribution towards the development of the content of this project. I also acknowledge one of our volunteers, Perry, who has done a marvelous job in terms of the content development as well. I would like to keep this brief and get into the main event. I would like to share a little bit about the introduction before I'll finally hand over to Katenda. So please bear with me while I share the next screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen, please. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Thanks for that.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Thank you. So in the introduction to the summit, finding the mindset to overcome challenges. So GMHA is a not-for-profit, and we collaborated with the Webbing Head Retreat and the Zizino for these 2 days summit. It's all about finding the right mindset to overcome challenges. So we have that great privilege to partner with the Anthony organization, that is Head Retreat, and Zino, who will be hearing from today, Rita, is the representative. This summit is an incredible platform for people from various countries and industries to engage, socialize, and interact with extensive experienced speakers from all over the globe. This summit will help attendees find a mindset tools to overcome challenges. The summit will help the participant to focus on how to manage your life challenges, build an unshakable core of inner strength, and thrive in a challenging world. I don't need to tell you, the impact of the COVID-19 today. And from what we know, an average person will experience an estimated 40 different challenges throughout their lifetimes. So what that means is that, unfortunately, we don't have adequate training or studies at school that teaches us on how to cope with the challenge in life. So we are very privileged to have such an opportunity to discuss these crucial topic. So in today's world, technology, young people from different places have many things that are challenging in their lives, and they make it miserable. These people need to help from us to educate them about how to overcome these challenges and live a happy life. We are targeting to host more than 100. So although we have 240 people that registered for this event from different parts of the globe. The participant will benefit from different presentation and different, which we know is going to be impactful, and there will be resources that will be shared about finding the right mindset to overcome challenges. These summits will be very productive, and it will take place, of course, in this platform, which we anticipated. And we are very grateful for technology. And it will be a combination of brilliant science and open environment, and enable the participant and speaker to focus effectively on the exchange of thought and the relevant experience that also encompasses the scope of psychological and neurological studies. We never know what tomorrow will actually be. We live in a very unpredicted world. Sometimes our predictions don't come true. So the youths, of course, every one of us need to learn how to behave or live or cope when things go wrong. We shall describe the psychological ways of handling unpredicted phenomenon. That's what we anticipated for. We need to develop a positive mindset and inner strength. There's no doubt about that. So now, what is a positive mindset? The positive mindset is an attitude someone has, expect the good and the desired results. The power of positivity is immense, and it can help you convert that energy into reality. Psychologists use the term finding inner strength to refer loosely to the wide range of mental and emotional resources, that is the behavior, the skills, and the attitude that keep us stable and adaptable in life. In conclusion, what we anticipated for is that you are not alone. That's the word I call it all. You are not alone. Even though when you have challenges and stress, we need to know that being alone and dealing with it alone is already a challenge itself. So we anticipate to educate everyone about it, how to consult and seek an advice from the trusted people and professionals. When challenges, so when we face challenges or when it is needed. So this is a brief or a summary of this event. So thank you all for your prize time. And I will now hand over to Katenda. Thank you so much, Katenda. It's all yours.
Thank you, Jude, for that welcome. And yes, I like to also remind people, yes, you're not alone. You're not alone and you're not alone. Always keep that as a key in your head, no matter what life throws at you. You're never alone. There's a lot of places, people you can actually seek help and get supported. Now, as we move on, during this 2-day summit, participants will discover different ways of finding the mindset tools to overcome challenges through presentations from experts. And so we have the understanding the nature and different levels of challenges. They will be highlighting major challenges affecting young people and their significant causes. There will also be youthful way to find inner strength. Mind your thoughts, they might come true. When things go on unpredicted, always know there is help. Find your path, even when everything seems dark and gloomy. There will also be positive mindset insights, youthful ways to find responsibility, youthful ways to find unconditional love. Again, you're not alone. There'll be poems. There'll be a poem by Chipo and live performances tomorrow. There'll be also quizzes, competition, prizes, and awards, and also certificate of participation to boost your resume if you request and if you want one of those. So our next guest is going to be Vivian. Vivian Akuyoma, she's going to be giving us a word of acknowledgement. Welcome, Vivian.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. Thank you all. My name is Amadi Vivian Akuyoma, and on behalf of Professor Dr. Jude Edia, I present this acknowledgement. First and foremost, I have to thank and appreciate the Almighty God for His virtue and infinite mercy, for His abundance of grace, making this summit a huge success. This summit would have not been possible without the support of His family members, board of directors, the esteemed goodwill partners, planning committee, and everyone here who have graced this summit, who have graced this event. He is grateful to all of those with whom he have had pleasure to work with him during the process. He cannot express enough thanks to our handsome volunteers to their continued support and encouragement. It fills his heart with joy and unspeakable to experience his gratitude to everybody who contributed to the success of this summit. With profound and gratitude and great humanity, he extends his gratefulness to his blessed family and love and guidance were with him all throughout the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Now, before we continue, also for details of Jimhar and all the different ways you can find Jimhar, we'll put some of that information on the chat box. And this will include, all the events we have. There's a job search, there's a Facebook Live, there's everything that Jimhar does, all the details on the screen, but we'll also put them on the side of on the chat as well. Now, before we continue, I would like to acknowledge all the sponsors, all the organizations that have made this possible. So we have the Wellbeing Health Retreats, Zinzino, PB Global Advisory LLC, Women and AIDS Support Network, New Hope Foundation, Center for Peace, Advocacy and Sustainable Development, Confidence and Self-Esteem.com, Oz Career Coach, Wheels of Hope, Rising Foundation, Dr. Naz Inner Wellness, David Nabware Foundation, Peace Society of Kenya, and the Mandate Health Empowerment Initiative. Thank you so much for partnering with Jimhar and making this all possible today. So as we continue, what is going to happen now, we're going to be introducing all the speakers, and I'm going to call all the speakers' names because in the interest of time. And what will happen is once the first speaker speaks, please just remember where you're in your line, which part of the line in the queue you are in, so that you can straight away just jump in. But if you don't do that, I will remind you to, if you kind of forget where you're at, because you've got that in the summit timetable, but I will just remind you in case you forget. And just remember that some speakers have 5 minutes and others have 10 minutes. Please, in the interest of time, make sure that you keep to time. And before you begin we would love for you to introduce yourself and give us 30 seconds or 1 minute about something about your organization, something about you, something about what we might not know about you and how you contribute to the planet. So our first guest speaker is Tony Neal. Tony is Global Youth Mental Health Chairperson, Governance, High Performance Wellbeing Organizational Consultant, Wellbeing Health Retreats. Thank you for joining us, Tony. Then our second guest is Professor Jared Akama. Jude, did you want to put the slide on the screen?
So.
He's a chaplain, lecturer, president of Peace Society of Kenya. And then our third guest is Dr. Charlie Mukherjee. She's a director of school education and dean, Students Affairs University, former founder principal, STEM World School, Adamas World School, India. Our next guest is Rita Stettel. She's a balance coach with 30 years experience in corporate Australia, 40 years experience as a mediator, and delivers sustainability, diversity, and well-being outcomes. Our special guest today is Peter Bender. He's the principal at the PB Global Advisory, adjunct professor, Boston University School of Hospitality, Administration, Top 50 Global Key Influences of 2020 CYS Magazine. Okay, and then our next special guest is Dr. Tati Rametse. She's a senior academic and co-founder at the International Institute of Leadership and Enterprise Solutions. Our next guest is Dr. Igweshi Augustine. He's Executive Director, International President, Center for Peace, Advocacy and Sustainable Development. Our next guest, she will be reciting a poem, is Chipo Juru. Chipo is a pediatrician pediatric speech pathologist, Victorian Multicultural Commission Region Advisory Council member, and also Chipo will be moderating the event tomorrow. Our next guest is Dr. Nasreen Pashan. She's a holistic health educator, emotional health consultant and coach, academic nurse and hypnotherapist. Our next guest is Edith Wanyonyi. She's a counseling psychologist, community development worker, a global youth mental health awareness ambassador and volunteer. Okay, next guest is, he's an ambassador as well, Maurice Oguchuko. He's a global youth mental health treasurer as well. And our next guest is Miss Rita Alim Khan. She's a Mid-South Asia, Australia, and also a global youth mental health awareness multicultural ambassador. Okay, our next guest is Sita Sagaran. She's a personal development trainer, lifestyle consultant, motivational speaker, and mentor. Next guest is Mr. Adigon Temitayo. He's the president, co-founder of Wheels of Hope Rising Foundation, vice president of Africa Project Management and Development at the Global Goodwill Ambassadors Foundation, United States. Okay, hold on. Okay, so the first person to start it off is Tony Neal. Welcome to the floor, Tony.
Thank you very much, and it's an honor to be on Jimha as your chairperson speaking. I have to acknowledge Jude for all his work that he's actually done. We're a very new organisation. We're just over 1 year old, and we've got a big vision and we've got a big challenge ahead of us. And so we need all the help that we can get. So if you know anybody who can help us, please send them our way because we need them. Jude opened up the questions about mindset. But firstly, what is mindset? According to Wikipedia, mindset can also be seen as a rising out of a person's worldview or philosophy of life. In other words, the person's view of their world or what they believe reality is. Let me just expand on 2 mindset tools that I'd like to share with you. First of all, the most important one that I believe is mindful awareness. Be present and conscious. Be the driver rather than the passenger. So let's just think about what that really means. When you're not mindful, it means that you're unconscious, or it means that you're unaware of what's happening around you. Some people coin that as in autopilot. I think everyone does go into autopilot now and then. For instance, if you're driving a car, can you remember from going from A to B? Not often. So that's when you're in autopilot. But if you're in a car and you're driving and you're doing the deliberate things, you are not doing things by habit. You're consciously responding to what's happening out there. So what we really want to get to is a situation where we respond rather than react. So that's another really important thing. And you can only do that if you're aware of what's happening. So to our youth, we really need to get that idea through. It's being present in the now. Did you know that we spend most of our time in autopilot? If you look at some statistics, that over 90% of our time is when we're unconscious or in autopilot mode. Some people are less than 10%. They could be 5%. That means that all they're just doing is on behaviours or things that they've learnt in the past. If we could sort of get our mindset to sort of think and be conscious of what we're doing so that we can actually respond rather than react. That is something that's really important. And that's something that I really believe we should be teaching at schools. Can you imagine how good our students would be and our youth would be if they had that tool? So I'm calling upon the influencers, people in government, to make this happen. Get this into our school curriculum. Get this out to the community. Our youth need it. If you're a politician, think past that your 2 or 3 year term. You've got grandchildren. You need to lead a really good life for those children, a legacy. You are the people that can actually make that influence. Oh, I'm calling upon the influencers of the world to make this happen. I'll just also give you another tool for youth. Use your imagination and your resourcefulness. Have purposeful and creative ideas. After all, your mind is so powerful. You have the power and the ability to insert any thought that you choose. So just really think about that. What does that really mean? That means that you can really create your own future. It means that you can be the driver of your life and to help people around you. Isn't that important? Wouldn't you rather be a driver than a passenger? So the other thing too, which is so important, is to educate yourself as much as you can. Learn the things that are going to help you and the people around you. Learn to be a human being, a well-being. Learn to do that. Learn to help people. But first you've got to help yourself. Help yourself to be the master of yourself, to be your own CEO. Might be another way to put it. Do the things that are going to make a difference, a positive difference to your life and all those people around you. You can do it. You are the youth of Australia and the world. We need young leaders. We need people who will go out there to be the next generation. We need those people. We need those people to be in corporate. We need those people to be in government to make the right decisions. We really need these people to be the experts in well-being and to bring that forth. As you go along, you will need help. Don't be scared to put up your hand and ask for help. That is so important. Many hands that link together, help, will unify your family, unify your village or your community, unify your state, unify your nation, unify the world. That's what we need. We need people helping each other, hands out. I'm just going to conclude now, and I'm going to answer the question, why is mindset so important? It is so important so that you are the creator or the driver in your life rather than being a passenger. You be the driver so you can do a positive influence on other people around you. Who needs to take the action? The first person is yourself. Be the master of yourself. And then once you're the master of yourself, you then can help other people around. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much and I'll hand back to Katinda. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, again, we seem to have a common thread of, saying about people should ask for help and also you're not alone. This is such a beautiful place to start this conversation. So our next guest is Professor Dr. Jared Akama Onyari. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, let me just
Thank you.
have
Welcome.
this the moderator, Katinda, that thank you for inviting me to just have this remark to say in this summit. And I appreciate all our viewers and our panelists. You have given me a simple task to do in the next 10 minutes, and I must confess that this is something which I do for 3 hours. So 10 minutes, I will only be just introducing the topic, and that's it. We hope that I will be able to share the notes later so that the young people can be able to read and understand. So my topic is understanding the nature and different levels of challenge. And I start by defining what an understanding is. To understand is to have a mental grasp, to have a comprehension. And this is the power to make experience in an intelligent way so that you can be able to apply any concept in life. So like now we are having this summit. If we do not understand what is before us, we may finish 2 days without grasping what is expected of us. Then what is the meaning of challenge, so that I can be able to connect and see what I can be able to say the theme of the summit. Challenges in life are given and they can be used to our advantage. So sometimes when we find challenges in life, yes, they are there, we must be able to use them to our advantage. And if we don't use them to our advantage, then we may not make it in life. But we are saying life is uncertain. You don't know what will be in the next 1 minute, what will be in the evening, what will be tomorrow or the day after. You can choose to embrace it and enjoy the ride, joy-free, learning from your experiences along the way. Or you can be able to repair against all of life challenges, resenting at every moment of your journey. So the power is in you. When challenges come your way, what do you do with them? I cannot tell you what to do. You have to choose what you have to choose. So the latter lobs you any opportunities. If you choose to resent, you choose to deny, it will deny you, it will rob you the opportunity for growth or end development. And when an opportunity is denied or you don't make use of it, then you stumble or you become unsuccessful in life. And I have to say that even a monk strives daily to improve himself, striving always to become a better person. So challenges in life are there to make us better persons. And if I use COVID-19 as a case study of what happened to the young people, and in this case from all over the world, my country, Australia, Nigeria, and everywhere, the young people, the COVID denied the young people the opportunity. They lost 1 complete year to be in school, to sit for exams, to finish their career, even to get married or to do all that pertains to life. But do they just look for 1 year wasted? No, they can still make use of that 1 year lost. So I'm saying the youth lost some amount of opportunity in life. So I'm saying on loss, whether you lose your job, you lose your opportunity, or your relationship is an inevitable part of life. These things are expected in life. Regardless of how it happens, a loss is one of the life's biggest challenges. It is a challenge. It can feel abrupt and disruptive, as I've said. COVID-19 disrupted the opportunities for the young people. However, loss gives the opportunity to reflect on what is truly important so that we keep on moving forward. So when losses comes in life, it gives us an opportunity to focus and give us an opportunity to move forward. It happened. The year 2020, all over the world was closed like a small village. Do we just look back at 2020? No, we have to move on. And I'm saying that in life, one of the challenges we face is failure. And here I'm saying there's not a single person who hasn't experienced failure in life. But the question happened when you found failure in your life, what did you do to it? Failure offers natural checkpoint of your journey. On one that allows you to evaluate your recent behaviors, choices, so that you can be able to make an improvement. Failure in life is not the end of it. It gives you an opportunity to reflect yourself and improve on. And one of the challenges which faces the young people and the old people and anyone in life are setbacks. And in setbacks, I'm saying we have many missteps in life. Sometimes when you walk, you miss a step and you almost fall down, but you regain the balance and move on. Here, we have all experienced a slow in progress and endurance or a delay of our journey. But does it make you to stop? No, it makes you to regain and move on. So setbacks gives us an opportunity to look for balance and we move on. And that's what I have to urge the young people, that when you find some missteps, some challenges in life, you have to use them for your advantage. The next point which I need to tell the young people, and this is where I say that the young people, when I talk about experience, you cannot challenge me. I speak and you listen. You have not come from where I've come, especially the elder people. But again, when you talk about the future, we keep quiet and we look at you, because where you are going, we can't go. Where you will be going for the next 20 or 30 years, I won't go there. But when I tell you about what happened in 30 years or 20 years, why don't you just hold on and listen, and I give you experience. So it gives you an opportunity. One of the areas which young people have to find themselves, and this is what's happening across the world, is they have to establish their moral compass. And we say that education without character is no education. We have to find the moral. This is, you have to distinguish between right and wrong for yourself. Is an ever-present life challenge. I cannot decide for you what's right. I cannot be able to decide you what's wrong. You may agree with one ideology today and another one tomorrow. Today, my ideology, the experience I'm telling you today, tomorrow you may not find it working. Changing your mind is your right. Nobody can force you to change your mind. And deciding where you stand is your responsibility. The two go hand in hand. When I talk about experience, listen to it. You will use my experience to walk through the future. And when you talk about the future, I keep quiet because I will not be able to talk. Let me just wind. If you have to succeed in life, you have to master your mind. Your mind can be a formidable opponent on your path to becoming a better person. It can also be a pipe up with all kinds of negative commentary when things are not going on. That's where Professor Judy was talking about positive mind. And in life, learn not to be with people who have got negative thoughts. They will hinder you from moving forward. Unless
we can't hear you, Professor. Your line is not clear anymore. Hello, Professor. I think we've lost you. Okay, I think looks like we've just lost Professor Kammer. So some of the points he mentioned were very amazing, talking about failure. Failure is not the end. Failure is a way for you to look at what you've done and see what hasn't worked and try again. Okay. That's my belief too. And he was also talking about negative people. If you spend time with negative people, you tend to also lose your positivity. So I know Jim Rohn said you're the average of the 5 people, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So monitor your environment and your people as well. So moving forward, we have Dr. Charlie Mukherjee. Welcome, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and wishing all of you a very good day and a very happy day. So this is Dr. Charlie Mukherjee from India. I am an academician and an educationist who has been working in the education sphere for the last 23 years now. I have been the principal of 3 international schools of repute in India and have exclusively founded 2 international schools as the founder principal. And one among them happens to be the first STEM school in West Bengal, India. Currently, I'm the Director of Education and Dean of Student Affairs at a premier university of India. Additionally, I'm also associated with a lot of premier educational organizations, both across India as well as abroad, in senior advisory capacity, and as well as I'm a motivational speaker. So thank you so much for the platform today, and I'm really very happy to be on this wonderful summit organized by Jimha on finding the mindset tools to overcome challenges. All of us sometimes or the other in the course of our lives face difficult challenges, which in turn leads to feelings of frustration, causing us to complain or to crib, to lose focus, and makes us just want to give up. But reframing our vocabulary and reimagining situations in our lives can help us give an altogether different dimension to how we view these situations in our lives. When I say about reframing vocabulary, what I mean is that the power of our thoughts and the power of the choice of words that we use to express those situations in our lives. Each and every thought that we have and each and every word that we choose to use, can be very, very powerful in determining how to respond to that particular situation. Every thought that we have is a kind of an energy that vibrates at a particular frequency, and it gives us an impulse to our brain, which in turn activates huge number of cells in our bodies, which collectively work together in bringing out that particular thought to reality. Even a simple reframing of our vocabulary from, suppose, by saying the times are difficult, and if we just reframe that vocabulary and say that the times are different, so it makes a huge shift. This particular difference can cause a major shift in how we feel. Secondly, we must all remember that all great and potential opportunities in our lives, they often come in the guise of challenges. It is absolutely up to us that what we decide to make out of it. As it is said, life is not what happens to you. It is essentially about how you choose to react to it. Our life is in fact 10% only of what you choose it's only 10% of what happens to us, and it's rather 90% of how we react to it. So it is about our perspectives, that whether those challenges which are coming as potential opportunities in our lives, whether those challenges are going to make us victor or victim, whether it's going to make us bitter or better. A pessimist would say that life is what happens to us, but an optimist would always say that it happens for us. So the choice always remains with us. If you believe that something is too difficult, then you are already setting yourself up for failure even before you begin. As Confucius had said, that the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. It depends on you that which one do you want to be. It is a veritable truth that we often find out who we are in the moments of our greatest adversities. The key to overcoming challenges is to lean into fear and find the courage and energy to act in direct opposition to the forces oppressing you. And to do this, you have to change your perspective on adversity. You have to manage your thoughts and emotions to harness that energy and creative potential of challenges and direct them towards positive growth in your life. Modern neurosciences has already shown that we actually have the capacity to change the form and function of our brains, and at no time is this ability greater or more powerful and critical than when the energy of adversity is in our lives. People, those who use adversity to evolve, are those that experience the most joy and success. While it is important to take action in the face of adversity, it is important also to act from a place of strength. The best form of action is to process the problem while remaining calm, gaining perspective, and building clarity and certainty. The worst thing that you can do in an adverse situation is to disengage. Retreating to comfort in the form of food, shopping, or some other habitual response is not just destructive to you personally, it often takes you deeper into the hole when the immediate gratification subsides. Rather, when you feel like you are locking up, go out and create value in some form. This will give you the energy of empowerment and the feeling that you can control and dictate outcomes in your lives. One of the biggest challenges for many of us is the belief that we need to be independent and strong always, but that doesn't happen. Seeking help often makes us feel less competent, vulnerable, and creates the feeling that we are somehow weaker than what we should be. But on the contrary, we need to talk to and listen to those who have been where we want to go, because they can actually offer significant perspectives about how to get where we want to reach. Others can offer to be as a patient ear when we need to vent, or someone to be around if an attack grasps us too tightly. I also think that one of the best ways to tap into the creative part of our brain is sometimes to shut it down and clear it out, like rebooting a computer that isn't performing well. Some extremely powerful tools can be meditation or mindful prayers, even brisk exercising. You will be amazed at the ideas and solutions that will spring forth once you are able to quieten your mind. And lastly, one of the simplest yet most powerful messages that we can give ourselves is that this too shall pass. The same body and brain that got you into trouble are the tools that can get you out of it. The key to overcoming the challenges is to get those assets feeling good, lined up, and focused on solving the problems you face. Begin to leverage difficult times as sources of innovation and creativity, and be assured that you will one day point back to those moments as among the most productive phases of your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shirley, for that. That was amazing. Yes, one of the points that was very stuck out for me was the pause. You know, we always stay silent and just slow down and see what life does for you. Thank you so much. So moving on, we have Rina Strettle. Rina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. As I'm in Australia, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their ancestors, both past, present, and emerging. Professor Jude, thank you so much. Chairman Anthony Neal, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'd like to acknowledge my fellow. It's all about MBE, your mind, your body, and your engagement. So as Buddha said, all that we are is what we have thought. And Dr. Charlie, you just talked about rebooting the mind. How spot on you were, spot on. So meditation has worked so well for me. For the last 40 years, I've been meditating. My beautiful mother introduced me to meditation as a child. And students, I'd like to say that meditation is so important for mindful clarity. There's different types of meditations, that you can do out there. The meditation that I practice is transcendental meditation. And this is wonderful for stress. It's great for health, energy, your brain power. So it's really great, students, you know, as you're trying to study, as you're trying to deal with the different challenges that you have in your life, and just deal with different types of situations and environments. So I highly encourage you to seek out and look at meditation as an option to reboot your mind. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the body. As Jim Rohn said, you know, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. And it's really, really important that we pay attention intuitively to what our body is saying to us. It's great when we exercise. I wake up early in the morning and I exercise. And that's a great start, I find. It gives me a wonderful way to deal with whatever challenges I might have. So habits and routine are something that I really put into my daily routine as part of being able to cope. It's my coping mechanism for the stress that I know that I will have to encounter during the day. The other key thing I'd like to talk about is engagement. It's so critical, people, that we engage with positive people in our lives. Yes, of course, everyone has challenges, but just reach out to those people who bring out the best in you. It's all about bringing out the best potential, helping you, coaching you, mentoring you. And that's why this forum is such an amazing platform to do that. Like we're saying, you know, we don't have all the answers and we're not an island. You're not alone. Everyone's saying you're not alone. So I think it's really important that we take on those three key elements. The other thing that I'd like to mention to you, and this is what really works for me and what Jim Ha is part of, is having balance in life. So when I talk about balance, I'm talking about balance from a fatty acid perspective. It's important that we have the right omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, because that's important for the inflammation and to manage inflammation. We all know that inflammation is part of our lifestyle challenges, and we don't want to be part of the hospital system or of part of the aged care system. So what can we do as responsible people to manage risk? What I do is I don't enjoy eating fish. I can't eat 2 kilos of fish every week. And I also acknowledge that there might be a lot of people who are vegetarians. But what I do is I help people work out what their balance is. So that's their omega-6 to 3 ratio, their mental strength index, and their cell membrane fluidity. So our bodies are made up of cells, and the importance is that we keep that health of the cell in great function. And if we can imagine, the cell looks like an egg. If the shell of that egg is so rigid, what it means is that the toxins aren't getting out and the good nutrients aren't getting in. And what we do is we take a baseline. So we do a dry blood test. Zenzino do a dry blood test. It goes to the Vitas laboratory in Norway, where they analyze 11 fatty acid outputs. And then we go on to a vegan oil or a balanced oil. And after 4 months, we then do another test, and it shows people what the improvement has been. Now, the European Food, Health and Safety Authority have 18 benefits of using omega-3. And they're things like improved brain cognition. My father had dementia, and it was really sad as a family watching him deteriorate. He was my swimming coach. He was my mentor. I loved him dearly, but he became very childlike. And I saw him in the nursing home be a vegetable. They did their best. And so I'm doing everything possible to explain to people that, you know, we can do things to help with these hardships. So the European Food and Safety Authority says that, you know, it's great for your brain cognition, your heart function, your immune system. It's great for oxidative stress. It's good for the fetus and the development, for your gums, your teeth, your vision. So on that note, I'd just like to acknowledge Jim Ha and say that Jim Ha do have a website. So please have a look at www.jimhabalance.com. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for that. You know, habits and routines keep you in balance. Thank you so much. Now we're moving forward to a special guest, and that is Professor Peter A. Bida. Welcome. The floor is yours. Peter, unmute yourself, Peter. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good morning, good evening. It's going good morning here. It's about 2:30 or 2:45 in the morning in USA. So if I sound a bit sleepy, you would forgive me. But looking at the panel, and I'm looking at these beautiful faces, it appears that every one of you have much more experience in terms of understanding the human mind and the element that we're all here to talk about. I'm neither a doctor, I am not a therapist. I'm somebody who has actually grown up in trying to deal with this day-to-day stresses in a way that has helped me. And I shared that last time I was on the panel. One thing that I feel is so important is that we as mental health professionals and leaders create an environment that will allow the young people to openly discuss their fears and what they consider this to be a stigma. Mental health is on a rise due to the pandemic all over the globe, especially in schools, universities, and colleges. We've seen more suicide attempts. We've seen more depression. And I think it's our responsibility to at least figure out a way before we get into the medical and the psychological aspect and everything else that's equally important, I understand. But if you don't create an environment within the community, within the city, within the country, within the globe, where a person can very easily come to you and share his or her stresses, daily stresses of life, I think we are missing a boat. You know, I have been in a corporate environment for the past 4 decades, and I have achieved many successes as well as learned many difficult lessons through, are you ready? Through failures. The most important lessons that I have learned in my life and why I have been involved in many of these initiatives, helping peace initiatives, helping Professor Jude in his quest to try and create some sort of a way to help these young children, sponsorship or otherwise. It really requires us to be their friends, to embrace some good things that these students have rather than focusing only on the mental health issue. Every human being has a quality that needs to be recognized and that needs to be celebrated. My second point and the final point is that without education, nothing happens. Education is the key to success in anything we do. And if we are providing some education at some level, which starts at home first, and then at school, in the boardrooms, and the community level, I think we can make a dent, we can try and achieve success. Again, I'm a common person. I have focused my energies over the past couple of years in African countries, primarily because I feel that they are hurting more than anyone else during this pandemic. And it is because of that that I try and find ways to assist some of those African countries where humanity needs to be at the forefront of our minds as leaders, as teachers, as medical providers, as psychologists. And I think what Anthony Neal mentioned, he was right on point. The future, the children, the youth are the future. If we do not take care of our youth, we are risking a bright future for this country. We're not here for much longer, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some of you may be here for another 50 years, 60 years. But if we don't start this process of training and educating and empowering our youth to do the right thing, I think it may be a difficult task ahead. So my hats off to Professor Jude and the organization for doing such a wonderful job. I have been doing my best, but at a different level. You all possess a lot more knowledge on mental health issues than I do. I'm a corporate CEO, and what do I know about health, mental health, right? But I do try and share some of the fundamental knowledge which I share with my staff, my employees, and my corporate folks that work with me. So while it's 3 in the morning, this subject was important enough for me to wake up or stay awake rather, and see your beautiful faces and listen to your wonderful talk. And I wouldn't have missed it. So thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue with you and Jimha. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for staying awake for us. We are very truly honored for that. And I like the point where you said every human being has something good to be celebrated. And yes, I think we should make that a habit of every time we see other people, we should always try to find what is something good about them and celebrate it, because that builds their confidence, builds the self-esteem. So thank you so much again, once again. Now moving on, we've got Dr. Thati Rametse. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Can you see me? I can't see myself. Hi.
We can see you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I start, because given this keynote speech from Australia, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I am presenting from. I would like to pay my respect to their elders past and present. As I've already been introduced, my name is Dr. Untitled Chapter, and I've been an academic for the past 12 years in Australia. I can see there are many people, from South Africa and other countries, but I'm from Botswana originally, and my husband is from South Africa, Soweto. So, hi, everybody. So, my topic today is on entrepreneurship during trying times, challenges, opportunities, and psychological relief. I'm not a psychologist, but I've tried my best to link that to that. Okay, entrepreneurship is the process of changing ideas into commercial opportunities for creating value. Overall, the process of entrepreneurship is about developing opportunities, gathering resources, and managing and building operations. This results in value creation. Entrepreneurs are the main engines of commercial change in the global economy in terms of employment and output. However, enterprises have suffered significant consequences because of COVID-19 impact. So talking about the mindset. So an entrepreneurial mindset are beliefs, knowledge, and processes that drives entrepreneurial behavior. So here I will present characteristics of entrepreneurs and challenges. Entrepreneurs are characterized as opportunistic behavior, innovative, proactive, and risk-taking attitude. So during crisis, such as COVID-19, an entrepreneur is expected to act dynamically and innovatively. However, this does not mean that during crisis, they cannot be mentally affected. Some scholars suggest that to respond to challenges such as COVID-19 pandemic, entrepreneurs take risks, which may affect their ventures. The characteristic of proactiveness entails an opportunity seeking and forward-looking perspective that is anticipating problems before they even happen. For example, entrepreneurs may take proactive action to put systems in place as they anticipate a lockdown. Entrepreneurs are also expected to be resilient and exhibit ability to adapt to change. In dealing with their normal business activities, entrepreneurs have suffered stress, and their stress levels has even increased due to COVID-19 impact. Hence have suffered psychological damage because of burnout in dealing with such issues. Entrepreneurship opportunities are ideas that have potential to create value. An opportunity can arise due to a crisis such as COVID-19 pandemic impact, as we said before. So it is better now for young people here to reflect on this type of situation. What opportunities have entrepreneurs identified as venture funding dries up and not receiving revenue from the sale of their products and services as a result of lockdowns? What opportunities have they identified during lockdown when they are forced to work from home, scratching their heads to identify opportunities can affect their mental well-being? Last week, I attended a magazine launch on women empowerment. The owner of the startup identified this opportunity during lockdown when she lost her job due to COVID-19 crisis. The launch was supposed to be held face-to-face. Ironically, just a day before the launch, a lockdown was announced in Victoria here in Australia. Despite this crisis, the launch went ahead virtually via Zoom. So COVID-19, we can say it has also presented an opportunity to use these types of technologies and or platforms for meetings and social networking. Various industries have faced challenges because of COVID-19. In Australia, amongst the top affected are the education and training and the arts and recreation industries. In Australia, as travel restrictions were imposed, overseas students could not travel to start their classes. Enrollment decreased, hence a decrease in revenue. Innovative ways of dealing with this was online learning, and for primary and high school students, parents were required to do homeschooling. This caused stress and anguish, particularly as most parents did not have teaching experience and knowledge of the curriculum. For the arts and recreation services sector, in the global economy, the sport industry is seen as one of the most entrepreneurial sectors. As much as sport entrepreneurship generates income for economies, it also promotes the well-being of society and communities, particularly young people who participate in sports such as basketball, soccer, and so forth. So with limited sporting activities during lockdowns, athletes and communities have been psychologically affected. However, scholars see individuals such as an entrepreneurial athlete, sport manager, and fans as innovators in sport change. Some see technological innovations to be important in sport entrepreneurship. So again, I will leave this to young people, because these are young entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs. They can explore this when it comes to technology. Because research has suggested that young people possess entrepreneurial competencies that can be applied to start up and grow successful ventures. So in conclusion, I'm about to finish. In conclusion, entrepreneurs must continuously innovate, take risk, and be proactive. They can apply this attitude to potential during crises, such as COVID-19. They face several different types of risks. The most important one, which is financial risk. In new ventures, individuals may invest a vast amount of their savings, which may be lost in the business if the business fails. Hence, they are expected, to be bankrupt. So the global pandemic has caused bankruptcy and business closure. So psychological impact due to business failure have proven to be severe on entrepreneurs because of COVID-19. So I was going to talk about how to deal with stress, but I will leave it, to those who know much about psychology. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. You can actually, if there's anybody who has any questions, remember, please, to put them on the chat, because we'll be addressing these questions as well. So moving forward, in the interest of time, we have Dr. Augustine Igweshi. He'll be talking about he'll be highlighting about major challenges affecting young people and their significant causes. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning from Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good morning from Nigeria. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I want to appreciate the organizers of this event, Professor Jude, Jim, her family, and everyone who have worked hard to put this great event together. It's a platform where we have come to share, where we have come to learn, unlearn, and relearn from each other. We have professionals who have come here to share great insight on this very particular summit. Okay, my discussion will focus on, I'll just highlight the challenges facing young people and their significant effects. In Africa or all over the world, today, we have about 1.8 billion young people around the world. That is, in the planet Earth, the most populous people on planet Earth are young people. That is, they constitute about 1.8 billion populations of the world. This has a very, very effect and also a very, very significant effect, both negative and positive, in the way things are being done on Earth. So today I'll be talking about specifically the challenges facing them as they constitute the larger population of people living on planet Earth. One of the challenges facing young people, I have worked with young people for some years, and I can understand the dynamics. I can understand the challenges they face and what the effect it has on them. So one of the challenges young people face, especially in developing countries like Africa, specifically Nigeria, we have issue of unemployment due to the fact that some countries, most 90% of African countries, or most African countries are developing countries. There's lack of unemployment, and most of African countries also have young people. The larger percentage of African country has young people between the age of 15 to 35 years. So when you check the population of Africa in Nigeria, young people constitute about 60% of Nigerian population. So when you look at this growing population, and when you look at the infrastructures, when you look at the economic development of African countries, you see that it does not provide that environment for young people to be gainfully employed. So there is this lack of unemployment facing young people, especially in Africa. Another challenge young people face is affordable education, access to quality and affordable education. Young people, especially in Africa, face the challenges of having access to quality and affordable education. The educational system in Africa is very, very low, and especially in Nigeria. When you look at those challenges, you see that young people do not have access to education. If you look at UNICEF classification or UNICEF data on education, especially for children between the age, that's about 13.5 million children are out of school. Both in Nigeria, you see the figures increasing day by day, and by the impact of Boko Haram, conflict, violence, you see that young people are being displaced, they are not going to school. And you look at the impact of COVID-19, many young people are out of school right now. So young people face issue of affordable and access to quality education. Education is one of the challenges young people face. Another challenge is young people face family problem, peer pressure problem, also drug abuse, mental health issues. These are some of the issues young people face around the world. These issues are has many significant effects on their life, not just on their life, but for the economic growth of the continent or country where they are coming from. Because if you look at them, that's their age, they have that tenacity and the resilience to do many things. But due to the fact that they have been limited with such challenges, it limits their activities, it limits what they want to do and how they want to achieve that. So it has very, very significant effect on their life, the way they do things and the way they interact with one another. Another challenge young people face, I could say, is drug abuse. So due to the fact that they don't have access to employment, they don't have access to quality education, you see them taking something that they feel that it will make them okay, it will make them relax, but they don't know that it is actually detrimental to them. They go into drug abuse, they go into crime. So some of these things affect their life, not just now, but in the future, but also in the economy of the country. Because young people also that are into entrepreneurship, they contribute about 76% of Nigerian GDP. So young people in Nigeria who are into entrepreneurship contribute about 76% of gross domestic product to Nigeria's economy. So when you look at those things, you see that if the government do not provide the needed environment, the needed infrastructure for them to have a livelihood, to thrive, it also affects both the economy, both the individual life, both the nation and the continent at large. So there are a lot of work to do to ensure that young people are gainfully employed, young people have access to quality education, young people are being abstained from drug abuse. JIMA is doing a lot of work to educate young people on issues of mental health and all of that, which is very, very significant, which is very, very important that we continue to create awareness, we continue to educate people, we continue to, enlighten young people on the dangers of, drug abuse, crime, and all of that. But we must take cognizance that they need that environment, they need that inclusion, they need that enabling environment for them to thrive. Because if that enabling environment is not there for young people, that is where they begin to take up drug, when they begin to go into crime, which affect not just themselves, but the society at large. So the significant effect and the cost of those things are very, very high. So I would want to urge us today, especially young people in this platform, that resilience, self-confidence, believing in yourself, working towards your goal, understanding your goal, focusing on your vision, and understanding the clarity of your purpose, why you have come, what you are on earth to do, is a clear indication that you will become successful in life, whether the government want to provide enabling environment, but you can always succeed. You can always try to thrive and succeed if you have clarity of purpose, if you know why you have come, why you were given birth to, how you were given birth to, and why you're here on earth to do so. So it is very, very important that as young person, we understand our clarity of purpose. We focus on our vision and we drive the process, and also seek mentorship, seek especially mentorship. Those who have come ahead of us, we seek mentorship with them to guide us on what we need to do as young persons, as youth coming up. So as a young person, I would urge you today to mentorship, understand the clarity, your clarity of purpose, set your goals, work on your goals, work on your priority, and you see you achieve a greater result. If you're an entrepreneur, you focus on that entrepreneurship, drive the process, seek mentorship from those who have passed through that stage. Let them guide you, let them help you advance your future and all of that. This will
Thank
actually
you, Augustine.
on all
Thank
of
you,
that.
thank you, Augustine.
Very much. I will be sharing some link opportunity for young people. We'll be having a global youth engagement Model United Nation. This is a place where we mentor young people on diplomacy, build their skills, network. They meet other young people around the world. So I'll be sharing some link on the chat box. You connect with us so that you can be able to mentor you and build you more to advance your future career. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Augustine, for that. Thank you so much. In the interest of time, we'll just keep moving. Now we have a poem recitation by Chipo Juru. Chipo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My poetry is my form of well-being, and my poem for today is called My Roots and I. When I stand in front of you, I stand here with pride. The blood flowing in me has run in my mother's veins and my grandmother's before her. That strong Black woman who couldn't be a nurse because she was shamed for having a baby. My grandmother who gifted her daughter with a gold nugget in a dream. The same gold nugget my mother appeared with in my dream while she flew over a ravine holding my hand, exposing the secret hiding place. My mother, whose father did not send her to school because she was a girl. My great-grandmother, who refused to put the dead baby down, who insisted on blowing softly on her dead newborn's face, who refused to hand over the infant until my infant grandmother coughed and breathed again while the village watched. My grandmother, who when she danced, it rained. The rain which brought life to a barren land. The cracked dry earth with a strong stench of death. After she danced and the trance passed, the swollen river would water and feed the whole village. After she danced, the whole village exploded with new life and the parched earth was quenched. My great-grandmother, who revealed the medication to my father in a dream, the medication that untied the knot in his belly. My grandmother, who I never met but knew that a girl would represent her today. When you see me, those blood veins run deep in me. When my heart beats, all the hearts beat as one. When I dream, I see them, I hear them, I feel them. My roots, my hearts, my identity. The dreams, vivid, loud, passionate, and courageous. The voices, the whispers, the love, the strength. The feelings of pride, of inspiration, of fear, and of pain. Sitting on the train and the boardroom, performing surgery in the theater, teaching in the classroom, dancing on stage, the heart beating, my identity, my roots, and I. Thank you. So the poem was chosen because I felt it was important to remind everyone today to root yourselves in who you are as you dig deep within to overcome life challenges. I chose this poem because I have found strength in reflecting on how I have overcome previous life challenges and how those before me, those who stood where I want to stand one day, have overcome. Poetry for me is a form of well-being. So for everyone listening today, choose your form of well-being and channel yourself through that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chipo. That was very touching, and it just gives us something to reflect back on our lives and our roots as well, because sometimes we take that for granted and we just forget about it many a times. Now, moving forward, now, if you want, we're going to be in a group photo. We've got Edith is going to be taking a group photo. Please, can you put your cameras on if you want to be in the photo? If you want to be in the photo, please put your cameras on so we can all have a group. Thank you. Okay. Edith, I think we'll look like we're ready. Edith, just let us when you're ready. Let us know.
I'm ready.
Okay, I think everybody's ready. Maybe you can tell us already.
Okay, so everyone just smile as I take the group photo.
Edith, please, can you take a, I think it's all about 3 slides. I'll start with the first one. Okay, can you go ahead, please? Edith?
Edith, are we done yet?
Yes, we are.
We're done? Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for participating. Okay, so moving forward, our next speaker is Dr. Nazreen. She'll be talking about youthful way to find. Welcome to the flow.
Welcome to the flow.
That's right.
Thank you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Thank you so much for the beautiful poem you shared, Chipo, if I just, pronounce your name correctly. You inspired me to start with this quote from Rumi. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. That can say everything about the inner power. So I'm from Australia as well. So yes, acknowledgement of the custodians of the land and acknowledgement of everyone, all the amazing people here and everyone across the world, because I certainly believe and deeply believe that we are all one. We are all interconnected. And a big shout out to Jude. So he's doing amazing job, and thank you, Jude, that you started this journey. I have been witnessing your journey in the last few years, and I can see how far, you have come from, and that is amazing. And that is all because it's coming from your heart. Okay, so I'm just going to start with, I know that, a lot of so much, important information already presented, and I want to just add something else to everything that, because we have some amazing information in the current world about, yes, so mindset, holistic health, and myself as a person being in healthcare system for 25 years or maybe more, I came with a conclusion that the actual source is within. And whatever we need to do, as a health professional, counselor, helper, needs to be involved with the sources within. Otherwise, it's not working. It's not sustainable. And if it works, it's just, it's not lasting. So that's why I certainly believe that everything is inside, everything is within. We do have so many, tools that can connect us to the sources within now. Yes, a lot of people talked about meditation in different, forms. We have tapping, EFT, hypnotherapy, all those amazing stuff and tools that can connect us with our inner self. And I think there are some noises around. I'm not sure if it's not from me, is it? Yeah. So I'm going actually to introduce you the ABC, just to be more connected to that inner power and inner strength. So starts with like a first aid kit, ABC, starts with awareness. Everything starts with an awareness. So this awareness is not limited to mind. It's not limited to emotions. It's not limited to body. It's all about the whole person, because we cannot address the whole person's health and wellness unless we consider all these aspects together integrated. So that's why, what Rita talked about, omega-3 and, fatty acids and all those sorts of stuff, they are absolutely important, because we need to be really mindful about what we put into our body. And at the same time, because now, we know that gut is also very important, even for mental and emotional health. And we need to make sure that we have a clear and growth mindset, which is, versus fixed mindset, which is the main possibly part of us which, ordering. We need to consider, the other aspects of our body health, exercise, movement. And the next one that we definitely need to be aware of is our emotions. I certainly believe that emotions are good stuff. Emotions are not bad. So we need to stop suppressing our emotions. And instead of suppressing our emotions, we need to be aware of. Okay, if I'm in fear, I'm aware of. Fear is not a bad thing, yes? I should accept it. And as soon as I accept it, I can regulate it to the next level, which is love. So if I just start with the affirmation that I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, while there is a hidden fear in my inside and I ignore it, that affirmation is not working. So the very first step is awareness, being aware of your emotions, whatever it is, and accept it, to be able to go to the next level of regulation and elevate your emotion to the highest level of emotion is love. So A is awareness. B is about broadening your perspective, brighten your perspective, just broaden your vision and see the things, beyond of what you have seen before. Okay, so if the situation is changing, try to make a new meaning of the situation. If the situation is out of your control, there is always something that you can control. So you don't need to focus on what you can't control. You need to focus on what you can control. So the resilience is all about finding the new ways in the overwhelming situation, in the difficult situation, because there is always one. And that's all about newness and making the new meaning. And we are actually the creator of our meaning. So the situation doesn't give us meaning. We give the situation meaning. So we need just to broaden our vision and insight and say, okay, so if that is not doable, I'll do this. If this is happening, if instead of saying that is not my fault, it just happened, instead of saying that is not my fault, we can say, I am responsible to make a new thing, in this situation. And C, which is something that I really want to add, to all the amazing information, is connect to your heart. Connect to your heart. Your heart is the leader of all of these, growth. And believe me, your heart is so powerful. It's science. It's evidence-based now that the heart has electromagnetic field that can be measured in 10 feet. The heart is so powerful. So connecting to heart is not difficult. I'm not sure if you have time now or not, but you can just do it in 2 minutes. Start with your breathing. And once you breathe in, once you inhale in, just smoothly in 3 to 4 seconds, feel your heart. If you don't feel your heart, you can simply touch your, put your hand on your chest or touch your pulse and feel your heartbeat. And at the same time that you breathe in, you feel your heartbeat. So if you do this, a few times, you start to practice breathing in your heart space. And that is going to be, gradually, step by step, that it's going to be your usual and your routine practice in every. So it's very easy. It's very handy in every difficult situation where you get a stress or where you want to really, connect to your inner power. Just go to your heart space, and your heart usually knows your answer. And you feel it and you come straight away with the answer. And this is actually the most powerful way that you can congruent your heart with your mind. Because if your mind says something and your heart says something else, that's a conflict. So yes, I don't want to actually just step, out of the time. So A, B, C, be aware, brighten and broaden your vision, make new meaning of in any given situation, and C, connect to your heart. And last, just ask for help. Ask for help from the right people. Right people are the ones, they are not the ones who give you direction. Right people are the ones who help you to see your own directions. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Jude, and everyone else for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Nasri, for all your help from the inauguration establishment of Jimha. You have always been there. You've been so supportive. We are very grateful to have you here today. Thank you for sharing your great insight with us. We now go further with the next guest speaker, who is Edith Wayoni. Edith, so yours. Edith, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Professor Jude, for this opportunity. My name is Edith Wanyonyi. I am a Kenyan. I am a counseling psychologist, and I'm also a community development worker. I am a mental health advocate, and I have a YouTube channel where I advocate for mental health. So I would urge all of you to go there, and also you can subscribe so that you can see what I do. So today I'm going to speak about the thoughts and how the thoughts, how what we think can become us. So in short, I want to say that our thoughts can become us. So we need to take care of our thoughts. And I'll start by reading a few quotes. So the mind is everything. What you think, you become. That's a quote from Buddha. And also, for those of us who are Christians, we know that the Bible says in Proverbs 23, verse 7, that as a man thinketh, so he becomes. So it's very important to take care of our mind because our mind is a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool such that what we think is likely to impact us. It's likely to affect us. And so we need to think positively because the energy that we put on ourselves is likely to translate to how we feel and how we act. So your mind is the most powerful tool. And so you have the creation, you have for the creation of good in your life. But if not used correctly, it can also be the most destructive force in your life. So we need to control our thoughts because our thoughts influence the way we live our life. Our thoughts affects our perception, and therefore it also affects the interpretation of our reality. So for example, if you think that you are a failure, you'll start feeling like a failure, and also you'll start acting like a failure. So it is our thoughts are a catalyst of self-perpetuating cycles. So what we think directly influences how we feel and how we behave. So we need to be very careful on how we are thinking because as we've learned that our thoughts affect our behaviors and also affects our feelings. So for example, right now, if you think of something in the past, something that happened, let's say maybe something negative, when you think about it, you realize that you start feeling negative and you're likely to act negative. And also the opposite is the same. When you're thinking about a positive thing that happened, probably in the past, you'll start feeling positive, and also you are likely to act positively. So optimistic thoughts lead to a productive behavior, which increases your chances of a successful outcome. So we need to think, to have optimistic thoughts about ourselves, because this will lead to a productive behavior and hence increase our chances of a successful outcome. So you realize that once you draw a conclusion about yourself, you're likely to have two things. So you're likely to look for evidence that reinforces your belief. For example, if you think that you are a failure, you'll always look for something that will reinforce what your belief is. So anything that happens in your life, when anything wrong goes in your life, you'll always reinforce it and say, it's because I am a failure. But when and also you will discount anything that is contrary to your belief. So for example, when you become successful, you will always attribute that to luck and not that you are a successful person. So let us be careful about how we think, because of these two things. So the reason why we need to be very intentional about our thoughts is because of the noises that we have in our minds. So most of the time we have so many noises in our minds, and that's what leads to our thoughts. That's what leads to either thinking positively or negatively about ourselves. So these noises are called the squatters. So you'll realize that sometimes maybe you have the inner critic, and this is motivated by pain, low self-esteem, and lack of acceptance. So when you have the pain, low self-esteem, and lack of acceptance and self-love, you'll always be critiquing yourself. And because maybe you remember the things that were said by another person, and so you'll be feeling so bad about yourself. You'll be critiquing yourself every time. Then we have the warrior, and this is the person who lives worrying about their life, worrying about their future, and maybe because of something that happened in the past. So they are afraid that it may happen again in the future. So they are always living in a world of what if this happens, what if that happens. And so this is motivated by fear of the past. Then we have the reactor or the troublemaker. And so this one triggers anger, frustration, and pain. And this one stems from unhealed wounds from the past. So maybe it could be childhood neglect, trauma, or abuse. And so you are always reacting. When someone says something, you're always reacting to it because you've not dealt with the wounds of the past. Then we have the sleep deprivers. So the sleep depriver is a combination of the critique, the warrior, and the inner planner. So the motivation of this is self-doubt, low self-esteem, insecurities, and generalized anxiety. So you will always be thinking about these, and you can't sleep at night because these thoughts are always playing on your mind. So the only thing that we can do to control our thoughts is we need to interrupt and replace them. So if we are having irrational thoughts, we need to interrupt them. So you need to be we need to be very intentional about catching ourselves. You see, the moment you're thinking negatively, you need to be aware. So you need to be self-aware, and you catch yourself and interrupt those thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts. Then you can also eliminate them altogether. So it's not a must that you replace them. You can eliminate the thoughts altogether. So also challenge your conclusions. Take a look at the labels you've placed on yourself. Take a look at what you've placed on yourself. If you think you're a failure, challenge that conclusion and replace it with a more positive thought, and also look for evidence to the contrary. So if you always think that you're this person who is not good, always look for evidence that is contrary to that belief, and also challenge your beliefs by doing something that makes you feel worthy. So let us all take care of our thoughts, because our thoughts become our feelings, and then our feelings become our actions. So it is very important. So I'd urge all of us, I don't know how many are intentional about thinking about what they are thinking. So we need to be very careful about that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Edith, for that. Oh, that was amazing. You know, the quality of your thoughts determine the quality of your life. Yes, that is so true. So we're moving forward. We've got Maurice Oguchuko talking about my why. Maurice, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, yes.
Well, it is a privilege, and I greatly appreciate Professor Jude for this privilege, and the Jim Ha family. I appreciate the moderator and the rest of my co-speaker, and even the panelists and everyone present here. Well, it is a great privilege, and actually, just like my topic is my why. I would like to start by saying a philosopher, Rene Descartes, says, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Socrates, also another philosopher, said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And now, just like the last speaker said, Edith Wanuni said, she said, reading from the Bible, she said, as a man thinketh, so he is. And more philosophers and individuals have also thought of the mind. And there is a quote that says, whatever you can perceive, you can achieve. Now, all these are laying emphasis on the power of the mind. Now, what is the mind? The mind is a faculty. It is a powerhouse. Now, you cannot have a why if you don't have a mind. For you to have a mind, you would have a why. And now that is why René Descartes says, I think, therefore I am. René Descartes once thought of everything. He was like, could it be that there is a demon who is influencing me such that I do not know what I am saying, such that I do not even know that this is my person? By the end of the day, he came to a conclusion. The fact that I can think, it means I am. So now I am putting up the challenge of the fact you live, you have a mind, and your mind stops existing when you are gone. So as long as you're a living being, you have a mind. And if you have a mind, then you must think about your why. And it is the power of the why that motivates you in doing anything at all you want to do. Now, if you do not have a reason for anything at all you want to do, then never venture into it. The reason is your why. Even when all faculties, even when all challenges, all factors are saying no, they are limiting, they are propelling against you, your why keeps you. Even when friends, family are saying no, your why does what? Your why keeps you.
We've got, can you guys
challenge you today? I challenge you today to always beckon, to always remember your why you want to do something. And that is the why I have volunteered with Jim Hart today. So there is always a reason why you should do something, and let that reason keep motivating you. Life itself is all about risks, but your why will keep motivating you. You want to become because remember Nelson Mandela, he kept fighting for freedom. At the end of the day, he found it. That is his why. Let us remember other inventors, like the person who invented the electricity and even the bulb of it. 99 times because of his why kept him. Let us also remember our great selves, our persons in different aspects of life. The times things have been challenging, every factor saying no to us, but something have kept you. That is your why. So the question I keep asking you today and asking us today is, what is your why? When the tussles of life is pushing you, what is your why? Why are you doing what you are doing? And I believe and I trust, and I'm certain that your why will keep propelling you. It will keep pushing you to greater success. And I bet you never relent. You always achieve success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maurice, for that insight. Now, please, if you haven't muted your mic, please mute your mic because it's a bit noisy in the background. We can't really hear very well. So our next guest, moving on, is Rita Alim Khan, and she'll be talking about youthful ways to find responsibility. Welcome, Rita.
Hi there. Oh my goodness. I cannot keep this sash on. It keeps falling. Then my crown keeps falling. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Back to, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people that I'm on the lands that I'm on. I grew up on the Jadwajali land, which is in Western Victoria in Horsham. I was born in Pakistan. My first language is Japanese. My seventh language is Chinese, and I'm in South Asia for some reason. So now that you all know my background, let's look at some of the let's look at some of the mindset tools and young people being responsible. So you know how you have a lot of professors here, yeah. So like my dad's a professor. So like, do you know what that's like being a daughter of a professor? Everyone expects you to be like super smart and say smart things all the time. And that's just not how it is. Yes, I may be a daughter of a professor, or I may be a like granddaughter of a surgeon, but like my life is more easygoing, you know, see more like a bit more creative on the creative side of things. I express through arts. I express through you know, different, like talking to my puppet, or just, you know, talking to myself. And one of the things that I have, and the reason why I support Jimha today, is because growing up in such a multifaceted community, I ended up experiencing a lot of discrimination, because no matter where I went, there was always like, you're not one of us. And even when you tried to get to know your elders, as one of the elders here today spoke, it was always like, I am trying to connect with you, but I don't know how to connect with you as a young person. I'm trying to seek help regarding my mental health, but I don't know what I really need to do that. So I can go to a counselor or a doctor and later realize, oh my God, I could have just talked about this to my friend. I didn't need to go. And it's stuff like that with trial and error that you end up realizing what you really end up needing. So one of the things that I talk about in Youth and Responsibility is that you have the responsibility to love yourself. You have the responsibility for self-care, to take care of yourself, to actually take yourself to a doctor, to take yourself to I don't know, like a mental health practice. Or in my case, like what I did yesterday, I went to this Chinese lady, got a Chinese massage. I didn't need it, but it felt good. It genuinely felt nice to go to a massage person and do a weight loss massage, which I know won't work because that's not how you lose weight. But the fact that it just felt good. And sometimes that's what you do. You do things because they feel good. And therefore we just like, I love how Poetry, like she shared her poetry with us, and it was really wonderful to you know, listen to some of that creative expression, because at the end of the day, we're not all talkers. We may not like be able to meditate like somebody like me. I have a monkey mind. It doesn't stay in one place. So it's kind of wonderful to have people who would, you know, use alternative ways to support themselves and help themselves. And I think youth has a very strong link with art. We express ourselves either online or through art or through other mediums, which are generally very important in terms of getting young people to express themselves. And it's their way of regaining power that they may feel that they don't obtain in a society. So thank you so much for having me. And yes, I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the speakers. You've all been amazing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita, for sharing your experience with us. It looked like a curtain that just walked out. We'll proceed with the next guest speaker. We're very blessed to have you, Rita, among us as a multicultural ambassador for Jimha. Looking at where you come from and the amazing work you do in our communities, it gives us a sense of understanding, a sense of belonging, a sense of harmony. And at the end of the day, we are trying to build a global, compassionate community in love, and building that with a solidarity. I think it's very important for me to have people like you on board, and we are very blessed to have you. Thank you for creating the time out of your busy schedule to be with us on this very special day. So our next guest speaker is Sita Segera. Sita is a very good friend of Jimha, and has always been there for us. And we have another great privilege to hear from her today. Sita, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Jimha, the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Limited, and of course, Jude. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to be here and be part of this summit, where I get to hear so many wonderful speakers who share their very valuable learning. Thank you so much. And I would also like to pay my respects, keeping in mind that I think it's a reflection of the respect and the spirit of loyalty Australians have for their land. And I would like to mention to you here that in the spirit of respect to Australia and Australians, I would like to recognize the Aboriginal peoples of Australia as the traditional custodians of Australia. I would also like to pay my respect to them, their culture and their elders, past, present, and future. And I would now like to move forward regarding what I believe is the acquisition of inner strength through well-being. I'm not sure how many of you may be surprised by what I have to say, but the first step I would say is keep it simple. And when I say keep it simple, the first thing is don't bother about what others think. Because I have met so many individuals who are doing great, who are doing what might appear to an onlooker as being very successful. But many a time they are held back because they are so conscious of about what others think about them. In other words, they're not able to really achieve their potential because of this thought that's constantly bothering them. So number one is, like I said, don't bother about what others think. Concentrate on happiness and well-being. And also think about how can we make a contribution and positive impact to the environment and people around us. What kind of ethics and morality are we having which is impacting those around us? What opinion do I have about myself regarding the environment and people? Do I have bias? Do I have prejudices? And I think these are worth thinking about. Another thing would be about fulfillment and joy. What does fulfillment and joy mean to you? I think it's worth thinking about. Another thing would be to reduce clutter. And when I say clutter, it doesn't necessarily have to be what we have in our immediate environment. It could also be the clutter that could be clogging and preventing us from thinking clearly. So preventing clutter is a good idea. Work what we love. Are we doing the work that we really enjoy? I think it's time we asked ourselves. Are we close to nature? Actually, I have a confession to make to all of you here. I'm not someone who spends a lot of time outdoors, but my spouse is someone who loves the outdoors. And I have seen how positively it impacts him. Hence, I definitely consider our association with nature is something which can really help us in terms of our well-being, our happiness, and our growth. One more thing I would like to talk about simplicity here is about the goals we may have. Are we keeping our goals simple? Or do we have a certain understanding about goals, which is a bit complex? Let me give you an example. Imagine if we are starting an organization, or imagine if we have a weight reduction issue. Do we look at it as a way of approaching the right people, getting the information and taking it one step at a time? Because sometimes when we see the end results of people who have achieved what we want to achieve, we may feel intimidated. And that is what I would strongly recommend all of us to not get intimidated. Each of us have our own ways of doing things. And if we don't know something, I think like so many of you had shared with us, we are not alone. There are always people who are able to share wisdom, who have the wisdom that they would be very happy to share. So asking them, is a great step of making sure that we are moving towards the path we wish to take. When it comes to my approach to life, I think a lot of you have already shared that today, but it would just be from the 4 steps, which begins with belief, behavior, habits, and of course, actions. And I think these are the basic steps that can also enable us to keep things simple. How can we cultivate the areas of life that will keep our life simple? Discover who we are, get more self-motivated, improve our communication skills. I would suggest Toastmasters. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Toastmasters here, but I'm sure many of you are. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Anthony. Thank you, Dr. Anthony, sorry. Because I've been a Toastmaster for this year it will be 17 years as a Toastmaster. And it's been a privilege being part of this organization that has really helped me to grow and helped me to realize my potential and help others in the process. I think so that is one step. Another thing is managing our stress, treating ourselves well as much as how we treat others, creating the life that we would like to be in. So I think all of these ways and mechanisms of keeping our life simple will also enable us to have better relations in our life. Keeping our life simple, uncluttered, live, care, and respect others, the environment, and whom we come across can go a very long way in helping us improve our well-being. Now, before I conclude, I would like to share a small verse from a poem which I have always appreciated and admired. It's by the Nobel Prize laureate Rudyard Kipling, and it's from the poem If. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. I would like to once again say thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity and privilege to speak to all of you today. Thank you, Jima. Thank you, Jude.
Thank you, Sitena. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Now, moving forward, we have Adigan Temitayo. He's going to be talking about find your path, even when everything seems dark and gloomy. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the great opportunity to meet all of you today. It's really a great pleasure for me, to Jude and the entire team that has put this program together to re-engineer greatness across the world, not only in Africa, but in Asia, America, Australia, and in the entire continent. Once again, my name is Adigun Temitayo Jeremiah, the president of Wheels of Hope Rising Foundation and the vice president of Global Goodwill's ambassador. Today, here with me, I'll just be speaking briefly on overcoming challenges when it seems there is no way. Now, in the dispensation we find ourselves currently now, we are going through the world and at large is going through a moment of unprecedented change, which gives rises to depression, failure, disappointment, and uncertainty across the world. Now, looking at these 4 areas: depression, uncertainty, fears, and issue that has to do with failures across board. We need to go beyond just looking at it as an unprecedented change, but we need to look at this as a transformation process for the world at large. We have all experienced what COVID has caused us in the country, across the world. A lot of life has been lost. A lot of families have gone through a lot of losses across the world. But by and large, despite all these losses, why do we need to face the challenges? Why do we need to face the problem head on for us to be able to solve this issue? Now, I'll be looking at 3 major points this morning. One is identifying the strength within yourself. Identifying the strength within yourself. I will use my life as a case study. I've experienced a lot of failures in the time past as a person in the course of my career, but I've never for once get discouraged that tomorrow will be better. Now, a lot of people are going through a lot of challenges, but one good thing we need to look within ourselves. What are the things that are giving us emotional strength to keep moving? What are the things that is giving us muscle to keep moving in the world? We need to find this part of our life to be able to give ourselves enough strength to keep moving at this time of change. Secondly, we also need to look at self-confidence. What is self-confidence all about? Self-confidence is all about when everything around you seems falling apart. There is still strength within us to keep moving, even at the face of global challenges. We see global challenges that is rocking a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses in Nigeria, Africa has collapsed, but yet some new businesses are coming up and they are still striving and succeeding and making their part. As individual, it's important and it's fundamental for us to discover the internal energy, not to lose focus and not to lose what our vision is all about. And the third part of it is resilience. At this time of unprecedented change that the world is going through, we need to move from level of being satisfied with the present situation. We need to move to the level of resilience, not giving up in any of our strive, not giving up in our vision, not giving up in our goals, not giving up in our aspiration. We need to be resilient. The level of resilience, like for example now, if you see at the world at large, we find the first women in person of Ikonjo Iweala as the first DG of World Trade Organization. This is a result of resilience. This is a result of resilience. And I need to encourage all of us that until we get to a level where we don't give up, it will be difficult for us to overcome the challenges that we are facing. Now, the fourth part of it is always know that there is a better day ahead if you can take action. A lot of people in the world across today, we have a lot of good plans, but we don't have a plan of how we are going to achieve our goals and aim in life. Despite the challenges, we have a lot of distraction. We have a lot of things that makes us distracted from getting connected to our focus and our goals in life. What is important for us as individuals to be connected by a detailed plan of how we want to achieve our goal in this time of unprecedented change. I want to encourage us all, at this moment, we need to take more resilience in achieving our goal. Now, and the fifth point is building network around potential people that can support your vision. No matter how good your vision or your plan is, without surrounding yourself with a good network of people, it will be difficult for you to achieve your dream. We all needed each other to succeed in life. We all needed people around us to connect with our vision. You can see Jude, which is the convener of this vision. He has a good vision for the world to move from the level of depression, from the level of failure, to the level of sadness, of mental sadness. Because these are some of the great visions this man is having. As an individual also, we need to surround ourselves with a network of potential resources that can be able to develop us, develop our vision, develop our goals until we achieve it. Thirdly, networking. The importance of networking in the 21st century cannot be overemphasized. We need to, as much as possible, try to leverage on our global network circle for us to be able to achieve beyond what we can think of achieving.
Thank you.
Now, in the past couple of 2 years, my company, my NGO has moved from a local-based NGO to an internationally recognized NGO because we surround ourselves with a network of resource individuals that have the passion for humanity, that want to go extra mile to ensure they sacrifice themselves to achievement of global unity. Now, with this set of people, we are able to move from just being a local NGO to an international recognized NGO, which means as an individual, we need to leverage on our network to overcome the challenges that we might be facing. And the sixth point is always believe that you have what it takes to succeed. We need to believe that we have what it takes to succeed. No matter the challenges we go through, no matter the challenges that is surrounding our environment, we need to have this at the back of our mind, that I have what it takes to succeed. Challenges are everywhere. We face challenges daily in the course of our life. But one good thing about life is we need to see beyond the challenges. We need to find that synergy for us to overcome challenges. Now, as I round up my section, I want to challenge us all, as everyone participating in this conference. Believe one good thing: challenges, we cannot do away with challenges, but challenges make us better. We cannot do away with challenges, but challenges make us stronger. We cannot do away with challenges. What we need to do is to develop a resilient force to overcome any form of challenges that may be facing us.
Thank you, Adigan. Adigan, in the interest of time, we need to actually keep moving because we're running out of time.
Okay, so, let me just summarize in just 40 seconds. Now, my parting word to everyone today is: no matter the challenges we face in life, we have what it takes to overcome it. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this section.
Thank you, Adigan. Thank you for all that. Now we're moving to the question and answers section. So if you have a question, please unmute yourself, ask the question, and we only have 10 minutes because we're nearly at the end of the summit. So please unmute yourself, ask the question.
I have a question for Adigan. Dude, what do you eat? Like, what do you eat that gives you this much energy and passion? I mean, man, you can go and on you go. Like, dude, like I do one thing and I want to sleep. What do you eat, Adigan? Where is he? Oh, maybe he's gone to eat. Oh.
Come again?
Oh God. Bro, come back, bro. We miss you. Come back.
Okay. Tell me.
Yeah, bro, what do you eat? What kind of supplements you take? You share with us today. You tell us the secret.
Okay. Okay, for me, my supplement is I never believe in failure. Even if I fail today, does not make me a failure. It only makes me stronger to face tomorrow for a better challenge. To every failure I have in life as individual, I have a better hope that tomorrow will be better, and that keeps me going. That's where my energy is coming from, and I keep driving.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. You don't absolutely believe that you ever failed. That's amazing. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Peace.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Questions, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I have a question for everybody, and it is centered on the mind. Now, if you if you followed up carefully, you'll see that everything we've talked about is on the mind. Now, my question is, why is the mind regarded as this so powerful, or the warehouse of power of every individual? Why is it so?
Okay, I will only answer you in two different forms with a practical example of my own life. From year 2012 to year 2015, I struggled to have financial breakthrough based on the challenges and limitations I have in my career. However, one thing I always tell myself one-on-one when I'm alone with myself, that Tayo, you have what it takes to succeed. Now, during this period of time, I was echoing this positivity into my inner mind, for my mind not to disengage from keeping moving until we engage our mind daily on positive thinking, positive conversation, positive declaration. Our mind will not connect with our action to succeed. That's why the mind is key to anyone that is going to succeed in life.
Thank you. Anybody else with a question for anybody else, please? Because we don't have much time. Question?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
This is David.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead, Ma.
Ask the question, please.
Hello?
Go ahead, Ma. Yeah, hearing you, Ma.
Okay. I'm Blessing from Nigeria. I have somebody who have this low self-esteem, and because of that, it thinks negatively and acts negatively all the time. But I've tried my best to boost esteem. I've been trying to bring her out of. She thinks she's already a failure. And, she's already depressed.
Sammy, turn off your mic. Sammy, turn off your mic, please, because we can hear the noise in the background. Thanks, Sammy. Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm saying that I have somebody a client who is, because we've been dealing with depressed people here in Nigeria, and I have somebody who has low esteem. All she thinks about is that she has failed in life, and so she has nothing to live for. And we've been trying to bring her out of that state, and she is not yielding. We've done all, I've done all I can, yet she's not yielding. She still believes that all is gone, and so she has no point to live anymore. I'm just asking, in that case, what more do I do? Because I've done my best for now, and she's not really yielding.
And hello, Blessing. This Tayo the God, the life of Nigeria also.
Yes,
now,
yes. I'm happy to have you here.
Now, what you going to do based on practical experience with our own world that we have interacted with? One, you need to have a one-on-one private conversation with the person. Take him to the dressing mirror. Ask her, how beautiful do you look like? That's the first step of assertion. Now, if she can come to realize that she's having a natural beauty, that's the first step to develop self-confidence, even when you have failed several times. Not until your client see the need for him or her that she's beautifully made. She's having a art. She can make it in life. It will be difficult for her to develop assertiveness, which is self-confidence. Now, secondly, what you can also do is to do a mental therapy for her. What does that mean by mental therapy? Now, the way mental therapy works is this: you have to bring him to a mind of a state of happiness. When she's happy, you can be able to use what is surrounding her happiness at that moment to change our orientation for good. And also,
because everything has to do with the mind. You have to attack the mind when the mind is at the state of peace, not when the mind is at the state of confusion. At every time, we find ourselves at the state of confusion, but when we see positive things around us, it gives us opportunity of changing that situation around, starting from the mind by bringing positive things to those kind of people, and you are going to experience a great result. However, I'm open for you to have a conversation with you on this after this section. You can reach out to me and we can take this further.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Adegun.
Anyone else has a question before we move on?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Adigan, let somebody else answer this question, Adigan.
Yes, that is a great point from Adigan there. However, I want to ask, what if the person now per se is ugly, naturally looking ugly? Is there any point, or do you think that this person, seems the person knows, oh, as myself, Maurice, I look ugly. How would I, Maurice looking ugly, tell you, oh, I am handsome or looking beautiful? So there is a difficulty there. But however, again, I spoke on my why. I think one thing there is to ask the person, why do you want to live? Or why do you even want to stay alive? Why do you want to stay with a family? There must be a reason. There must be a reason. That one reason can sustain her. Then more so, I also think that the Jimha is an organization that focuses on creating mental health balance and in cooperation with another organization. So she can reach out to Professor Jude on this regard too. Reach out to Professor Jude, and she should not stay alone. She should reach out because Jimha is able and willing to assist her in this regard. And that is why Jimha is saying, you are not alone. Speak out. You must learn to speak out. So she must learn to speak out. You may also help her in reaching out to Jimha, because sometimes people who face such mental challenges, they are not able or willing to speak out. So you may also help her to speak out. By this, you relate her to Jimha, Professor Jude. Thank you.
Thank you. Sami. Sami, looks like you have a question. Do you want to ask the question, Sami, before we finalize?
I wanted to come in. This is David speaking from Ghana.
Go ahead, David.
Yes, I have listened to Pastor Blessing ask a question regarding low self-esteem. So I want to contribute to this particular issue. When you look at what she has said regarding this particular client, most of the times, as a mental health expert and a practitioner, some of these people that have extreme low self-esteem might be having problems with their personality. So when you look at personality disorders, we have to do an assessment on these clients. So I would just say that it is necessary that she can engage some of us at the back. And also someone spoke on natural ugly and stuff. Some of these people have this thought also think that they have a problem with some part of their body. So most of them could have body dysmorphic disorders, of which they are preoccupied that this part of their body is not what they expect it to be. So these are some of the things that are happening. Most of the things that we see our patients at times have mental orientation. Therefore, we must look at all possible means to rule out that are associated with specific areas to be able to come out with our findings and be able to support our community out there. So this is the little contribution I have. I know it will come to my turn to speak on this particular important area. Thank you very much. And in fact, the presentations have been so much. And I'm so glad to also be here this morning, right from Ghana in my office. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Now we've got one more question. Sami, you have a question? Please ask your question.
Yeah, I'm Sami Lena from Marsabit, Kenya. And my question is, sometimes maybe there was anything that made you feel stuck, for example, in a day. and what are other ways that might be there to solve this issue. For example, a youth might be having academic stuck along the way, and this person need help. How are we going to support this gentleman or this lady to overcome those mindset issues? Thank you.
Who wants to answer the question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I think I said before, Jim Hard is a top organization assisting and creating awareness for mental health balance. So I think one of the very good things to do is to reach out to Jim Hard. Professor Jude is certified in that regard, and he's able to deliver and do exceedingly in that regard. Please let these individuals not die in silence. Help is always available, and this is one of the slogans of Jim Hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have one more person. Mayo Bu, do you want to ask your question?
Can we have some women asking and answering questions, please?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is as follows. We have young people, like let's say precisely teenagers, who have that mindset of becoming great people. But now we have the problem of age limit. Most of them are capable and willing to be great men and have the qualifications, but their ages cannot permit them. Now, what can be a solution for that situation?
Can I help this? Okay, according to me, what I can say, if you get a teenager who has that great mind of becoming, who is aspiring to be somebody in life, it's good when you bring that person so close to you, or you connect him or her to the right professionals whom can give him or her guidance in order not to be discouraged by the age. She can interact with older people, and from there she can gain knowledge of following his dreams or her dreams of becoming a great person. That ones happen mostly in the life of teenagers, and what we need as mental health practitioners is to encourage or to create awareness for them to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat. I will continue a bit later because we need to finalize today's program. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for the question. Thank you for the answers. Please keep putting them on the chat, and let's continue this conversation tomorrow as well. So if you want to know everything about Jim Hara, please, we'll have those details on the chat as well. You know, all the things we do at Jim Hara and all the links, all the information from Jude, how you can get in touch with us. And we want to thank all the sponsors. You know, we would like to thank the Wellbeing Health Retreats, Zinzino, PB Global Advisory, Women and AIDS Support Network, New Hope Foundation, Center for Peace, Advocacy and Sustainable Development, confidenceandselfesteem.com, Oz Career Coach, Wheels of Hope Rising Foundation, Dr. Naz, Inner Wellness, David Nabuare Foundation, Peace Society of Kenya, and the Mandate Health Empowerment Initiative. So I want to thank you all for your insights, strategies that we can all use to make our lives better and make the world a better place. Yes, remember, you are not alone. And we have come to the end of the summit, Finding the Mindset Tools to Overcome Challenges Virtual Summit. Tomorrow's session will be also on the chat, so you find the details, the link, and also there'll be an email that will be sent out to you as well. So don't forget, same time, 7 p.m. Melbourne, Victoria time. Thank you so much for your company today and for sharing the experience with all of us. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow evening or daytime or morning for some of you.
Katenda, hello Katenda.
Yes.
Just before I finish, can I just call Tony? I think Tony is still here. Hello, Tony.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. Please, can you help us to express our condolence to Professor Gerard? He lost his mom, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we really want to acknowledge that, and I think it's something that we can just send blessings to his family and make sure that things can go better for him. And I'd just like to close with what Katina said. We'd like to have a giant sort of thank you and for our great spirited talks that we've had and with so much positive energy for today's Mindset Summit. And many thanks to our fellow panelists for their valuable contributions and for the time and effort that they put in for sharing. So we need to recognise for each panellist why they've actually put so much time and effort, and also for all the pearls of wisdom that's been put forward. Let's collect all those ones. Jim Ha acknowledges and appreciates these pearls of wisdom. Let us join hands and find ways to implement this knowledge that we've just gained. Let us influence the world leaders and educate the world towards great mental health needs. Secondly, a giant thank you for our sponsors, Jude, Tina, and the Jim Ha team for today's summit. Finally, I am so excited of what is to come for tomorrow. I'd love to see you all rejoin the Mental Summit for tomorrow. So on that note, I'll bid you thank you very much, and I'll return back to Jude or Katinda to say the final bye.
Oh, thank you so much, Tony, for that. We appreciate it. And thank you, Katenda, for the brilliant moderation again. You always be there. We always appreciate your support for Jim Ha. Unfortunately, we couldn't share the feedback form. I was thinking it's going to come up, but it's not coming up tomorrow. We'll make sure we put that up. And thank you everyone again for your participation. That means a lot to us. And always remember, you are not alone. I normally tell people the greatest gift that we can give to someone, especially during this pandemic, is the gift of kindness. So let's be kind to ourselves and also be kind to others. And I look forward to see you all tomorrow at 7 Melbourne time. And I believe you have awards to gain from the summit. Please also invite your friends and your family and ask them to join. Thank you all once again, and have a good night, my friends from Australia, and have a good day, my friends outside Australia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Jude.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Mr. Jude. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you. Kantinda, God bless you. Judy, my good friend, bye.
Thank you, Samir. You're always there. We appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Mr. Jude.
Thank you.
Thank you for being there for us.
I appreciate you
May God bless
greatly.
you abundantly.
Judy, you have really touched my life. Judy,
doing a good
you have
job.
really touched my life.
Thank God for His blessings.
Yeah.
Your positive feedback, Sammy, is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also my sister from Kenya, Edith. If you are hearing me, thank you very much. She is my role model. In fact, I like the way she's doing.
She's brilliant.
Thank you so much, Sammy.
Thank you, everyone.